As far as, you know, if it's still worth it 10 years later, I give it 3 thumbs up. Little pull here. All right, we're here with the 2017, right? 2015 C7 Z06. I'm here with Jasny.
Hello.
Today we're gonna be driving this absolute unit of a vehicle. So we're gonna do a little start for you guys. This is completely stock, right? Yeah. We're doing a little bit of driving in it. I'm gonna give him the mic a little bit while we're driving, just to go over some of the things, because obviously that's my daily and this isn't. I honestly haven't even had a chance to drive one of these yet. I've been in the passenger of this car, and it's fast and it's pretty wild, but I've never actually personally driven one. I have driven a C8 though, and I like the C8, but passenger feel alone, the C7 is way more raw, and there's just like a totally different feel behind this true American muscle car, and this is really the last true Corvette that's out right now, I think. With the C8 being a mid-engine, it's pretty hard to call that a muscle car nowadays, but that's besides the point. We're gonna get going here, and we'll see you on the road. Does this thing have a camera built into it?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's showing us performance data recorder. We're not going to go over what's on here because it might be enough to put him in jail for a couple of years. All right, well, feel on the inside. This is not an average Chevy. Chevy is known for having the cheap, squeaky plastic interior. This leather does not feel like a Chevy at all. Obviously with the red interior, this is probably like the closest thing to a supercar you could get at that time for the price. Not a lot of things that were in this price range, really. I mean, I guess there are a few, but you're not gonna get all of the interior stuff like this. This feels completely put together. Everything just feels great on this, honestly. Being behind the wheel of a Z06 is a big deal. The C6 ZR1 is my dream car, and or C7 ZR1, I think. And I think we can both agree on that. That is just like the peak of performance out of Chevy, in my opinion, aside from, I mean, obviously cars that we can't afford, like a C6R or C7R. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, just like general impressions of it, I love the heads-up camera, but it actually gives you the full RPM range, digital speedometer, gear selection, and a G meter. And I'm pretty sure you can change that also, right? Okay, so you can change, you can go through the HUD, take away the G's. And you can change it from, okay, you can change all that, straight speedometer. So you got a few options there, but I think this one's the best one because it kind of gives you everything. The steering just feels extremely tight. Like, I love this steering, man. This is great. It's extremely low to the ground. I've driven a few low cars and owned a few low cars. This just puts you straight to the floor. Being a performance car that it is, it just feels like planted. It feels like it's ready to go every second. It's just ready to hook a corner and just stay in it. Such a far and drastic jump from something like a Mustang, which I actually just reviewed 2 days ago. I just drove a 2018 Mustang. Even the S550 with the independent being not live axle, like, this is just such an incredible jump from like what you would call a traditional muscle car to something closer to the closest thing that we were making to a supercar at the time, aside from a Viper and like a Hennessy vehicle. Our house of the car has stayed true to its roots of a muscle car. Like I said, it's still a V8 and it's still supercharged. This is the LT4. So it's a 6.2 liter supercharged LT4. Now the LT4 is a great platform. Just, you know, simple pulleys, or even if you decided to go with a different blower, you could make huge power leaps. Black Label Racing Max has tuned a few of the blower cars with the LT4s. It's incredible to see how far that they can take them. For being a 2015, the infotainment is probably one of the most up-to-date of that year I've ever seen. I really don't like Sync 3 or Sync 2. I mean, that's not really what you're here for in a Corvette. This should be to the equivalent of how GT350Rs have their little calculator screen in them to save on weight. This is absolutely a driver's car. This is not for a Sunday cruiser this is not Grandpa's Chevy, you know? This is a totally different car than that. So if you're looking to buy something fast, just buy an LT1 RS. For the enthusiasts like my buddy Justin here and myself, the Z06 is a phenomenal buy. If you're in the market, there are not a lot of cars that compete with it. You're gonna get like a Hellcat or maybe even an older model GT500. You're not gonna get something like this. The Hellcat from 2015, the vet is just 1,000 times better. You can pick these up for a pretty reasonable price right now, anywhere from the 45 to 55 range for this year. If you're looking for something two-door, any day of the week, I would get a C7 Z06 first. Justin, I'm gonna go ahead and hand you the mic. Just tell them some things since you've been owning the car for a while and you've been driving it. Like some of the things you've noticed as you've driven it, whether or not it's honestly a good buy or not. I mean, you've been daily driving it for what, 2 years now?
This car has been my favorite car by far. I had a Scat Pack before. 485 horse in the crank. They're cool cars, they are. I didn't enjoy it as much as this car. This car, it gives you a crazy feel. I love how it takes corners. I love the 0 to 60. It's an overall, like, amazing car. I'm sure the transmissions in Chevys aren't the best. They're not. I had to get some work done on mine, but you gotta look past that stuff. All cars are gonna come with flaws. Chevy just happens to not know how to make a good trans.
I try to make it.
Yeah, right. This car it's unbelievable. I don't know how to put it into words. You got to get behind the wheel of one of them. They're just amazing. They're amazing cars. Scat Packs were a little bit more in my price range a couple years ago. I kind of want to just get in the car scene. Scat Pack's a great car to get in the car scene. Just don't follow like the stigma of the Scat Pack owners. Definitely a huge jump from a Scat Pack to a C7 Z06. I've always been big into Mopar. I've always loved hearing that whine. I did my research. I've always been a big Corvette guy. Kind of runs in my family. They're great cars. They handle corners with ease. You got huge tires on the back, 335s on the back.
335s.
Just huge tires. Worst part about this car is the price for maintenance. No matter where you go, I need new tires eventually. $400, $500 a piece. It's not fun to own a Corvette on that aspect. Like I said, it comes with buying the car. You know what I mean? I just got an oil change. It's $300. Really, the only bad part about this car.
Still drives like a brand new car.
It still drives brand new. It's like Chevy definitely knew what they were doing with this generation of Corvettes. For being a 9-year-old car, the car is really not. I mean, it's not like super outdated. It has like a little infotainment center. It doesn't have Apple CarPlay for the 2015s. That came out in 2016. The motor of this car is amazing. Good LT4. There's just not a lot of bad things to say about this car. I really don't hate really anything about this car except the prices for the maintenance, prices for upgrades and stuff. You want to buy a big boy car, you got to pay the big boy prices. So when I first got this car, I was huge on how fast can I go in a straight line. Now that I've had this car for a little bit, I want to feel like the G's of going in and around corners, like to feel that and just feel the tires just hug the ground. It's just, this car's amazing. Like, I don't know, not much more to say.
And that was the GOAT himself, the owner of the C7 Z06. Just shedding a little bit of light for his pretty brief 2 years of ownership. I know it sounds like a lot longer than it is. I mean, when you own a car like this for so long, you almost get used to it, but anytime apart from this, and I know this because the last time I talked to him when it was in the shop with the transmission getting done, he said, going from the rental car that he had basically the whole period of winter time and getting back behind the wheel of this thing it just puts a smile on your face all over again. And it'll put a smile on anybody's face too. I don't think there's a lot of people out there who really can hate on a Corvette like this. It moves, it's loud, it's fun, and then when you want it to be quiet and you want it to be a regular driver, there's not a whole lot of issues with that. I don't ever see myself ever having a problem with daily driving something like this. When you buy something like this, you know what you're getting yourself into. If you plan on daily driving this, you know that it's not gonna be a S550 4MATIC Maybach. It's gonna be a sports car. You get what you pay for. It's just, in my opinion, it's so worth it. I would rather suffer every day with a race car than have a mediocre like a daily driver. I would make rather just suffer and daily drive this every single day. That's my own opinion, obviously. If you're looking at buying one of these, make sure that it has good maintenance history. Obviously, this is a driver's car, like I stated, so who knows how the previous owner really treated it. In this case, I think Justin got pretty lucky. He got something completely untouched, just a bone stock Z06. Over the time that he's owned it, I've had the pleasure of filming videos for it, driving in it, not driving it yet. Today's the first time that I have. I've been in it enough times to know that had I been able to afford one over my 540, I absolutely 100% would have bought one. So there's my honest review of it. I would take this any day over a Mustang, any day over Challenger, Charger, or Camaro. Still being an American muscle, this is probably the best American muscle out there in my opinion. I am biased because I like Corvettes, but I do like everything just as much as well. I'm not a car salesman. I'm not here to sell you the car. I'm just here to state the facts about it, and this car is an amazing car. So if you're really genuinely looking at purchasing one, green flags on the whole thing. As far as, if it's still worth it 10 years later, I give it 3 thumbs up, and I think Justin would give it 6 if he had enough limbs to do so. It's about to blow my mic away.